Okay, hello and welcome to the podcast. We're happy to have you back. If you're looking for a good read, Grandmother's Ring Unspeakable Thing is a really good book to pick up. Basically, it's a love story, a forbidden love story written by Jamie Masters. You guys should pick it up. It does come with a warning that it does have mature material in it. So, just kind of be aware of that. Grandmother's Ring is a romance suspense thriller. Kylie's a young girl who is in trouble. She meets terrible people, lied to her best friend, and fell for a forbidden love. Her ambition gets her in over her head, and it's more than she can handle. Now she must enter a dark, seedy world to try and make things better. The fate of the man she loves, her best friend, and not to mention her innocence are all at stake. The media will assure the whole world will follow the trial of the man she loves and is trying to save. But the woman she idolized will stop at nothing to assure she fails. The question is, what would you do for love? Would you lie, cheat, and steal? Would you do unspeakable things? Would you kill? This intoxicating thriller promises to move your senses and explore the senses of humanity and has an unforeseen ending. Pick it up. It's a pretty cool book. You can find it on Amazon. Again, just type in Grandmother's Ring, Unspeakable Things. It should pop up. It's available on Kindle and or paperback, whichever one you prefer. Today we're talking about why people are leaving California. Now, I didn't know that many people or this many people were leaving California, but once I started researching into it, I'm really, I can't say that I'm surprised, but I'm shocked that people are actually leaving California. Now, I was raised in California, Los Angeles, to be exact, and I never thought that I would leave the state because this is all I knew. When you're from California, there's a few things that you learn, and maybe we'll talk about that in a separate podcast. But for the most part, everything was, this is how California is, and you just have to take it. I never thought that there was another world. I never thought that there was another world out there. And again, I lived and worked in California pretty much all my life until the market crash of 2008, 2009. I was actually doing pretty good in my real estate business when the market crashed, and pretty much, to make a long story short, lost everything I had. And luckily, I do have a okay job. I mean, I'm not rich, but I'm not on welfare either, so I have a job, and that job pays for my rent and my gas and all that good stuff, like most Americans, and certainly most Californians. Some of us are like a job away from being homeless, so that kind of thing. But one of the things that I never figured out or understood was that people left California for a reason. And like I said, I've never thought about leaving. My family's here, my parents are here, my friends are here, everybody's here. So as I got older and kind of my friends are doing their own thing, and my family's still here, of course, but I didn't lose complete touch with my friends, but everybody's busy, especially in California. You're always busy. So when the market crash of 2009 hit and I lost everything, I was looking for a job, and I'm in the hospitality industry, so the jobs that I was looking for at that time was very scarce. Not only were they scarce, there was a lot of competition for them. So I decided to start looking at jobs outside of California. I never thought that I would be leaving California, or just even if when I started considering it, I thought, okay, I'll go work over there for a few years, maybe a couple years, maybe a year, and then I'll come back and when I get a job here. So that was my thought process. So I started looking on websites for jobs outside California, and to my surprise, I got a job in Colorado. It was a very hard decision for me because my family was here. I didn't think I was going to do it. I didn't think I could do it. I'm Hispanic, I'm Mexican, and we have a very close family. We have very close family ties, and it was very, very difficult to make a decision like that. So I talked to pretty much everybody in the family, and they basically said, do what's best for you, and even though I knew that leaving would mean not being around my family for long periods of time. So that was very, very difficult. But to make a long story short, I decided to take a job in Colorado, up in Keystone, Colorado, at a ski resort up there. But I never thought that people would be leaving California, because California has great weather, awesome things to do. I mean, in California, you always have something to do, and where in other states that may not always be the case, unless you go to like New York or big populated areas. But California is it's very unique, man. California is a beautiful place. It's I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It's fucking awesome. California is especially Los Angeles, along the coast from San Diego to San Francisco. It's beautiful, man. California is just, you have the best of everything. You can go swimming in the morning and snowboarding in the afternoon. It's just that kind of place, and it's very diverse. I mean, it does have its problems, that which we're going to talk about, because it's the reason why people are leaving. But the good things about California is that, again, the weather, the things to do here, the restaurants, the food, the culture, the just man, I can't say enough about California, how beautiful it is and how nice it is, and just how I grew up in California. And now, mind you, I grew up in a bad area of California. I grew up in South Central Los Angeles. There was a lot of crime. There was, gangs and, the whole thing. So even then I thought, man, this is, California is still, California is still okay. It's beautiful. I had a job, and it was pretty good. But along the way, as I got older, California began to change, and I didn't see a change right away. I'm like, I didn't see it immediately, but I thought, and I didn't even notice it. It was changing, and changing as the years went by, and I didn't notice, and I honestly didn't even pay attention. And it wasn't until people that were disgruntled with California that they started bringing it up that I started noticing. So I thought, man, how many other people are like me that don't really notice what California is doing, why Californians are leaving, and why businesses are leaving. It's not a pretty sight to see the state that you were raised in, and the places that you were, where you have your friends, your family, going through such turmoil. And it's just very sad to me to see that. But we all have to do what's best for us, right? So a lot of people that are leaving California are for various reasons. So let's dive in right into that. California, people leaving California. So California has become this place that nobody wants to come to, and when they do come, they're like, "What? Why the hell am I here?" And the number one, well, I don't want to say the number one reasons, but there's a lot of reasons. And let's start with real estate. It's almost impossible to buy a house in California if you're not in the top 28% of money makers here. Like, if your income, if you're in the top 28% of in California, you're able to buy a house, but everybody else will never be able to afford a house here. The real estate market is just out of control. I mean, if you can, I think they said that the average, and by the way, all these stats that I'm going to give you, it's stats that I did on research. I'm not quoting the sources, but it's up to you to go look and find these numbers, or find your own numbers and see whether I'm wrong or whether I'm right. You see it my way or you don't see it your way. That's your prerogative. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm just here to tell you why I think people are leaving. So we started off with real estate, extremely high. I think the median household in California is $500,000. I mean, you're talking about a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom house, depending on where you're at, and you have to cough up $500,000 just for that. I was looking at when my daughter was going to college, I was looking at a condo in downtown LA because it was closest to the school. A one bedroom condo, actually 2 bedroom condo in downtown LA was costing $650,000. I'm not making this up. This I was looking at a condo that I thought, okay, this is kind of cozy. This is nice for her. She has a little space, and she's going to go to college. Maybe maybe had a roommate or whatever. I don't know. But the point is that it was costing $650,000. I couldn't afford that. I just couldn't, and I was so saddened that I couldn't give my daughter this. At least I would have settled for renting. At least she could have, if she could have paid for the rent. But if at some point she couldn't afford the rent or whatever, obviously I would help her out. I want to get her through college. She's Latina, and there's not married. We already are disadvantaged with going to college and graduating and the whole thing. So I thought it was very important for her to finish college, and as a Latina, and I was going to make her, or I was going to assist her with whatever I could to make it happen, and that was my goal. Luckily, she graduated. We bent heaven and earth to get it done, but we did it. And I say we because, believe you me, if you're a parent, you're going through that crap too. And anyways, so the $500,000 for a house in California. Come on, man, $500,000 for a freaking 3 bedroom house, and who can afford that? What do you have to be making, like $150,000 a year? I don't know. How much do you have to make to be able to afford $500,000 on a simple, basic house? And I'll make another video of how. So I've worked in other states. I took the plunge and I went to Colorado and Ohio, and man, what a difference for $500,000 in Ohio. Which, by the way, my third house when I was doing real estate was $499,000. At that time, I was doing well and I could afford it. And in Ohio, $500,000 to get you a freaking mansion, on the lake with a boat, with a dock for your boat, and man, it's just insane, the difference. Insane. It's night and day, the difference between other states and California. And then the next thing is taxes. Another thing that I noticed is we in California get taxed up the wazoo for pretty much everything. Everything is taxes. I mean, and of course, this is sarcasm for those of you that are going to say, "Oh, that's not true." They tax you to breathe here. You have a gas tax, income tax, sales tax, city tax, garbage tax. I mean, you name it, you have a tax for it here, and it's. I think obviously I don't want to get too political, but it's all governmental. It's all governmental taxes. The government is taxing the crap out of you to pay for whatever, social services, this, that, the other, and it again, not too much into politics, but they never do what they're going to say with the money, and it's just crazy. As an example that I can think of is the lottery. I remember when the lottery came into California, and they said we're going to give it to the teachers and the schools and this, that, the other. And look, I don't know what they're doing with the money, but the point is that they tax you up the wazoo, man. They tax you for everything in California. So the money that you make, let's say you make $1,000 in 2 weeks. Let's say you go to work for 2 weeks and you make $1,000, right? They take $300, $350, $400 out of your check for taxes alone. I'm not talking about your insurance. I'm not talking about your health insurance, your 401k. If you want to spend a little bit on the side for your retirement. I'm not talking about all that. I'm talking about just taxes alone. Social Security. I mean, I guess that's that's federal, but I mean, you all add all that up, and it doesn't leave you a whole lot. And not only does it not leave you a whole lot, the cost of living in Los Angeles is freaking insane, man. It's just insane. My sister lives in San Francisco, and when she comes to visit my mom in LA, um, she stocks up on groceries because, believe it or not, San Francisco is a lot more expensive than LA. And friggin' LA is expensive. So she stocks up on groceries and she takes a bunch of a gallon of milk in San Francisco will cost anywhere from $6 to $7, depending on where you go. $6 to $7. In California, I just bought a gallon of milk today. In California, it cost me $5. You know how much it cost me in Ohio? 98 cents. You didn't hear that wrong. 98 cents for a gallon of milk in Ohio. A carton of eggs is an example. Well, not even a carton. It was with the full 24 pack, double pack of eggs in LA. That costs you $3 to $4. In Ohio, it costs you like $1. I mean, it's the differences of the cost of living is insane. Of course, to be fair, you make less in Ohio, but it averages out to to about this to a little bit better in Ohio, I think. But the cost of living in Ohio is so much cheaper that it's just even and in still in Colorado. There's some areas in Colorado that are still cheap. The weed market over there, I believe, has made the housing prices, the housing market, like really expensive. But it's night and day, the difference that you're paying in taxes and in food and in rent. You can get a 4-bedroom house in Ohio. You can get a 4-bedroom house. You can rent that out for about $500-$600. You know, it depends on where you go. Some you may pay $1,000. I don't know, for a 4 or 5-bedroom house, but it just depends on where you go. But the difference is still night and day, and that's the point. And then the next thing is business regulation. So another thing that I found out is that not only are people leaving California, but also businesses. Small businesses are the lifeblood of California. And it seems to me, as somebody that has a business and I have family that has like small business, my brother-in-law and nephews, they have a detail shop. Like I said, I had a real estate business and some other businesses, and they tax. First of all, in order to start the business, I had to take a class. I had to take a like 8-hour class. I had to pay for the class. I had to pay for the licenses. I had to pay for, I mean, it was just a bunch of stuff, man. It's like they have these, what they call these regulating bodies, that whatever you do, if you're a florist, if you're cutting grass, I mean, there's all these regulations. Now, mind you, if you're a florist or cutting grass, these regulators come in and they say, you can't do this until you do that. You can't do this. You have to pay for this. You have to pay for that. And they tax you on pretty much everything. First of all, you have to have the money to start a business in California, because it all goes to the regulatory body. I think the number is, overall for small businesses in California, it costs $135,000 per year on small businesses, which how are you going to hire people if you're going to spend all your money or the majority of your money before you even start? I mean, California is just not friendly to businesses. So I remember inspectors coming to my business, and even inspectors going to like my family's business, and they were complete dicks, man. They were just full of themselves, and like think of them as being like just complete narcissists because of their title, and they can shut you down when they want to, and I mean, they were just complete dicks, and they don't care because they're just hacks, union employee hacks that just go over there, and you have to do this, you have to do that. If you don't like it, we're going to shut you down. And no compassion, no sympathy, no understanding that it used to be that you could say, I'm a taxpayer, I'm a business owner, and my business contributes to the state and contributes to society. They could give a fuck about that. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about their business. All they care about is their power, their narcissistic power. Well, you got to do this, you got to do that, and if not, I'm going to shut you down. And then if you tell them something, they don't believe you. Well, I need to see proof and blah, blah, blah. I mean, they're just complete a-holes, man. A-holes in California. My experience with them, is just complete a-holes. Those those inspectors and all these people, they're just, man, I can't stand them. And this is why I would never start a business in California again, knowing what I know now. Then the next thing is the traffic. Certainly there's traffic in other cities, but California has, I think, the top 7 most congested freeways in the country. And like, they're all in California. And like, you think of places like New York and Texas and all these places. California has the most congested freeways in the country. And it's not like they have the number one, or well, they do have the number one, but it's not just the one and the two. I mean, they got, I think it's 7 of them. Again, look up the stats yourself, but I think they have the 7 most congested freeways in the country. And I know that when I was working in LA, I bought a house. My first house was in Corona. That's in the Inland Empire. And it was because it was cheaper. I was willing to drive an hour to work because the house prices in Corona were like really cheap. I think I bought my first house for $110,000. It was a 3-bedroom house with a big yard. They still had orange groves over there, and like, man, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sacrifice the drive. So I drove for years and years and years. It was an hour drive, then it became a 2-hour drive, and then a 2.5-hour drive, and then I found myself stuck in traffic. So Californians are unique in the way that they'll find something to do in the car. They'll put on some, and I think these are the why podcasts are so popular now, is that we do shit in the car that to get us off the stress of driving or lack thereof, or sitting in the car in traffic in California. So the traffic is absolutely horrendous everywhere you go. And if you want to go let's say you have Labor Day, especially Labor Day, any of these holidays, when people supposedly have the day off, the traffic is worse on the holidays. And that's because, look, in California, you have rush hour traffic. One side of the freeway is completely congested while the other side is like smooth and running. Don't think of it as smooth as running like if you live in the middle of America and in that's smooth. No, not that smooth. Compared to what we deal with, it's smooth and running the opposite direction of rush hour traffic. So on the holidays, that rush hour traffic agreement, if you will, goes away. It's bumper to bumper congested both ways all day. All day. Labor Day specifically that I can think of. Any major holiday in California is like that. They just, man, it's just, you can't go anywhere. I don't even like going out on holidays. Man, I'm just gonna barbecue in the backyard, and I'm just gonna chill, barbecue, and that's it. I don't want to do anything else because I hate to be in that traffic. I get more stressed out going out on, say, Labor Day and trying to make things happen by going somewhere where I'm just stressed out sitting in traffic, and by the time I get there, I'm just pissed. I'm pissed at everything. I'm pissed at at the drivers, at the wait, man. It's just not a good situation. Okay, and then another thing too that I saw progressively get bigger is homelessness. So California, we've always had a Skid Row. Right, we've ever since I can remember, we've had Skid Row in downtown LA, basically. And I used to drive by, it was sad. These people in Skid Row, homeless. You felt for them. So today, well, let me back up. So you felt bad for them, but there was enforcement of the homeless people, right? So they had to keep moving. They had to find another place. They had to go to a mission, get a shelter. Some of them were even arrested for drug use or for crime or for whatever the case may be, right? Um, but today it's not like that. Now, I'm not suggesting that you start arresting homeless people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it used to be that homeless people had to keep moving, and they couldn't park themselves outside businesses, and they couldn't park themselves outside, busy traffic areas. They would have to find places where it wasn't so heavily congested and business taking place. Mostly the beaches and the parks, and they, even though they were harassed a little bit, keep moving. It was somewhere for them to go. So today it's not like that at all. Today, homelessness is out of control, particularly in California. I mean, it's nationwide, but nothing like California. So again, I've been to Colorado and I've been to Ohio, Nebraska. The homelessness is nowhere. I mean, look, you may see one or two homeless people in those places. And I guess the weather has a lot to do with it, because California, you don't get the snow. You have beautiful, man. That's another thing, beautiful fucking weather all year round in California, man. I love it. And that's one of the things that I hate about Ohio and Nebraska, Colorado, all these other places, is that the snow. I'm not a snow person. I don't like the snow. I know some of you guys are. You like to go skiing and all that crap. So they're good for you. But I just don't like the snow. And that's one of the bad things about moving out of California. So the homelessness, I guess, is affected by that, because you're not going to be homeless in freaking 2 degrees of and snowing, but so I understand that. But the homelessness in California seems, it's just out of control, man. They do whatever they want. They commit crimes whenever they want. They pretty much have taken over, and the citizen really has nothing to say. And we'll talk about law enforcement here later in the podcast, but the citizens really have nothing to say, because there's really nothing anyone can do. The police can't do anything because they're told not to do anything. The cities of California most cities anyway. They take an approach as leave them alone kind of thing, and as a result, the cities become filthy, and they become drug infested neighborhoods, and they become dangerous for kids and people to walk through, and they don't care. The politicians just don't care, and we keep re-electing them. So I used to think, okay, this person doesn't care about the citizen. It used to be that you can vote them out, but now you can't do that, because the mentality is leave them alone. So the politicians keep getting reelected that have the same views on homelessness and taxes and business regulation and all that stuff. And not only are they not trying to stop it, they're making it worse on purpose. So they're saying, yeah, I know you're already paying more taxes, but we need more. We need to pay for welfare, and we need to pay for roads and whatever. We need to pay for all these social services that I need more money from you. So now they keep raising taxes. I think that the income tax rate in California is 38%. So if you were making, now correct me if I'm wrong, I think if you're making $60,000 a year, your tax rate is 38%. Now, $60,000 a year, you can live comfortably any other middle America. $60,000 a year in on the East Coast or West Coast, you're in poverty. You are you are poor. You can't afford the luxuries of enjoying the luxuries of having a $60,000 a year job. You just can't, because it goes to rent, it goes to taxes, it goes to bills, it goes to energy. It goes to all that stuff, and it all becomes it all is a spiral, because even the energy, your energy bills in California are some of the highest in the world, some of the highest in the nation for sure. So it you add all that up, and it's just, man, it's just impossible to prosper in California. Now, I'm Mexican, and my family, we Mexicans, as most people, we survive, right? We pack people in the houses. You have a 2-bedroom house, we got 3 families living in there. We're going to live together, and we're going to support each other, etc., etc. You guys have heard the stories. People. I know people. That we do that, but we shouldn't have to live that like that, man. We shouldn't have to live with other families to be able to afford a house, to be able to afford rent, And the same people that are telling you that's a tragedy and that shouldn't happen are the same people that are making it happen. And then we keep re-electing them, and I'm thinking, why the hell are we doing that? And then I realized that, the reason why we re-elect them is because the people that are re-electing them feel the same way that they do. God bless you. If that's what you want, hey man, do it. That's not what I want. You know what I want? I want a quality way of life. I want a low cost of living. I want to make a little more money where I can take advantage of the lower cost of living. So when I moved to Ohio, that was happening to me. I made the same money that I was making in California, but I had less. I was taking home more. I had less bills. I had less, pretty much everything. Gas was less, energy was less. I mean, food was less. I had more spending money. Man, I went out and bought me a TV. I got me I spoiled myself, which is all I ever wanted in California. That's what I want. This podcast that I'm doing, all these microphones and stuff, I bought them when I was out of California, because when I was working in California, I was strapped, man. I had to buy groceries, pay rent, live. I had to live, and it was just impossible to do it in California. And again, these same people that apparently want to do good, they talk about income inequality and how income inequality is so bad, and it's so bad all over the country. California has California is 4th in the nation in income inequality, and they made it that way, and they don't see that. You guys don't see attention, you people that are voting for this. And I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat. I don't give a fuck about either one of you. I don't care about your independents. I don't care about your libertarians. I don't give a fuck about you guys. I care about me. I care me and my family and what you do to me. I'm telling you that California is fourth in the nation in income inequality. The very thing that you're trying to avoid, you're creating by whatever the fuck you're doing in office. Whatever it is that you're doing, you're fucking it up. You need to change it, And I'm talking to everybody. I'm not just talking to one party or the other. I'm talking to everybody, we Mexicans, fucking, we go, we're going to put $20 in gas. How much is gas? I don't know. Just put $20. I don't know if you guys are laughing, but that's how we see things, and we basically, the reason why we have a low voter turnout is because we just don't give up. We don't care about you guys. We don't care what the hell you're doing. I know you're trying to get our vote, but we see government as not what you're doing for us, but what you're going to do to us. And it's no matter who we vote in there, it's like, what are you going to do to us? And that's how we look at it, and that's why we don't give a fuck. We don't vote. A lot of people don't vote now. I vote. I've learned to, and for many years I didn't vote, because I had that mentality. I didn't vote until I started voting, I started voting. It doesn't even make a difference. Sometimes it doesn't make a difference. When the guy that you voted for wins, it makes a difference. You're like, yeah, I voted for that dude. I voted for Obama. I voted for Clinton. So it's well, I voted for Obama the first time around, and I voted for Clinton twice. But not that you need to know that, but just to get an understanding of what I'm talking about. Um, you guys are messing this up, man. You guys need to fucking get your shit together. There's nothing. There's. You guys say go out and vote. Go out and vote. The only thing that we're doing by going out and vote is giving you guys more power to fuck things up. That's what, because you keep us uninformed. You keep us misinformed. You have a narrative that you explain shit to us that you want us to realize. It could be a horrible freaking thing, a horrible thing. Like, as an example, fourth in the nation in income inequality. You're going to say, we're only fourth in the nation in income inequality and we're moving. How the hell are you going to make that negative into that kind of positive? You're nuts, man. And it's just not a good situation. It's not a good situation to be in. The poverty rate in California is incredible. I mean, it's I think it's 1 in 4 people. 1 in 4, man. 1 in 4 people are poor in California. I've seen it. I believe it. I've seen it. I've lived in the ghettos of LA. I can't say that I've ever lived in a affluent areas of LA, but I have friends, that live in affluent areas. Um, it's good for them. But the point is that 1 in 4 people in California are poor. How the hell are they going to afford a house? How the hell are they going to pay your taxes? And on top of that, you have homeless people, harassing us. You have homeless people, um, committing crime to us. I can't afford to change my goddamn a windshield every fucking week, every month. I make it, I'm sorry, it's sarcasm. I can't afford to change a windshield every time this fucking homeless person tries to break my shit. If you break my shit, I'm gonna kick your ass, man. Don't break my shit because I can't afford it. I'm one of the 1 in 4 that lives in poverty in California. And you people in office don't care. You don't care about me, and this is why I don't vote. I don't vote for you. This is why I don't, like I said, this is why we think that voting is what are you going to do to us, not for us. And that's the mentality that we take. I know that's changing a little bit, especially in the Mexican American community and in a lot of Hispanic American communities. I know that in Florida it's a lot faster than it is with us. And don't get me started on the Spanish news media, because they're 10 times worse than the American media. And I'm talking about everybody. Fox, CNN, fucking everybody. All you motherfuckers are biased, and you turn a story to fit your what you think it should be and how you give it to us. And the story may not necessarily be wrong, but you spin it a certain way to make us believe a certain thing that you want. You all do that. Okay, so this is why people don't believe the media anymore. Hispanic, I would say Mexican Americans in general still believe the media a lot. But the word is getting out there that you guys are a bunch of liars, that you're manipulators, and your biased shit is not going to fly. So I know that the immigrants that come in, and I know the illegal aliens that come in, and I know some, hell, some of them even been family members. You still have them. They still believe the Spanish media. They don't speak English, whatever. They still believe your shit. So, but we're slowly changing all that. We're teaching everybody to think for themselves and know when they're when they're lying to you. So this is an important topic for people that come to this country, because I guarantee you that immigrants that come from other countries will not vote for the shit that you're doing here. They just wouldn't. They would vote for that when you lie to them, because especially Mexican immigrants that come here, they have a strong belief in God, which a lot of you fuckers in look, that's your preference. You don't believe in God, that's fine. But what I'm telling you is, people that come from Mexico are devout Catholics. They believe in God. They believe in family. They believe in prosperity. But you bastards lie to us when we come over here about how to get that and what we're gonna do. And it's just not cool, man. And I hope that podcasts like this and people standing up will see what's going on in this state. Especially in this state. I know I went on a rant on that, but this is not a political freaking thing. I'm telling you why people are leaving California. So 1 out of 4 are poor in California, and in California, well, California has 1/3. Some say it's 1/4 of the people in California are on welfare assistance. That's insane. You people keep my people on welfare to so you can get their votes. It's like Mexicans are proud people. We don't want to be on welfare, man. We don't. We want to work. We want to come and work, and we until it's almost like a submission. Until you put us in a submission, until you put us in a submission hole, we will. Okay, well, we'll stay on assistance forever, the rest of our lives. I have family members that've been on assistance their whole lives, all their lives. She's freaking 40 now, whatever. He's 40. I know people that have been in assistance their whole freaking life, and it's just I feel bad for them because they're never gonna do anything. They'll never be anything. They'll never see anything. They'll never do anything because they rely on that check every month. They know what they're going to do with that check. They're going to go buy the milk. They're going to go buy this. They're going to go buy that. And then once they spend all that money, they're going to go back in the house and they're going to sit on their ass and they're going to watch TV. They're going to play video games and they're going to just chill. And they're going to wait for the next check. They're not going to do anything, man. They're not going to, and they haven't. My family members, and like God bless them, man. I use them when I help them when I can. Not that they need any help. Sometimes they're doing better than I am, but they'll never be anything. They'll never do anything. They don't have an incentive to do anything. They haven't done anything, And I'm not just talking about one. I'm talking about many people that I know like this. So I don't want you white people coming up here and telling me that's not true. I mean, fuck you. It's true. I know them. I know them personally. Okay? I know who they are. I'll show them to you if you like. Well, maybe I won't do that because I don't want them getting in trouble. But the point is that you guys are a bunch of liars. You're all a fucking bunch of liars. Yeah, so they're all getting assistance. A fourth of the people getting assistance are in California. Are you kidding me with that, man? Come on. A fourth of the people are on welfare. Look. My mother was on welfare when I was young. She hated it. She was embarrassed by it. And you know what? All you motherfuckers should be embarrassed by it. You should be embarrassed by being on welfare. And you should be, and you know what? And most of you are. And you work hard to get off of it and you work hard to go get a job. Just like my mother did. Single mother living in South Central LA. We got off of it. She started a business and, rubbed off on me and we kicked some ass. Of course, we should have been a little more educated on business, but, that's a tip for another story. So anyways, so we're all on freaking welfare. One of the things that, while I'm on this topic, I hate going to the market and seeing people in front of me, and I'm not just talking about Mexicans. I saw it with the white people too in Ohio and Colorado. I hate going to the market and seeing people in front of me with fucking 2 carts full of stuff, milk, cereal. I mean, you name it. Some of these guys have 5 and 6 gallons of milk. They have like 10 cereal boxes. They have like what the hell? And I'm carrying my little freaking cart with a few items because that's what I can afford. While these motherfuckers are just going to town in the store. They're just grabbing everything, putting everything in there, whatever. I don't know how it works, but whatever they can, whatever welfare gives them, whatever it is. I guess they call it in Colorado, they call it the red card, um, or the Ohio card, whatever it's called. And I'm sorry, not in Colorado, in Ohio. And they just fill these carts up, and they're in front of me with all this shit. And I saw this one white dude with two carts full of shit, and he had a hunting jacket. He had just come back from a hunting trip. They like to hunt over there in Ohio. Good for you, man. And look, I'm not complaining that this dude is got it. Maybe he's legit. I don't know, but I'm sick and tired of seeing you people in the market doing that shit in front of me, because I work hard for my money, and I don't get the shit that you do. I'm one of the four, or 1 in 4 in poverty, especially in California. Now, California is different because it's mostly the Hispanic people and the black people that are on assistance. So I don't like it either when when black people and Hispanic people are in front of me with like that. And you know what? And some of you motherfuckers don't even care. You're like, that's right, I'm on assistance, bitch. It's like you have no shame, and that's why you stay on assistance. So fine, that's what you're gonna do. Okay, but know that you'll never be nothing. You won't do nothing unless you get off assistance. You have to want to do something to get off of assistance. If you stay on assistance, it's just not gonna happen for you, man. It's just a fact. I know I'll get probably comments and stuff about that, but hey, if the truth hurts, you can go to hell. The welfare system, man, the welfare system is just killing us really bad. I mean, you guys and the politicians they don't want you off of assistance, because when they have you on assistance, they will always get your vote, because you will continue to be on assistance and continue to vote for that. You're a slave, man. You're a slave to the government. You're a slave to welfare. I guess that's another topic for another day. I mean, I don't want to hear how people are offended that you're a slave to welfare. And I'm sure, some people will say, we were slaves and blah, blah, blah. Screw you, man. We were fucking slaves to the Spaniards in Mexico for 500 years. They took our culture, our land, our money. The French came in. You know the story, man. We were natives to this country, so fuck you. Sorry, went on a rant again. So let me get off this welfare thing. I made my point on that. Business friendly. So California is not very business friendly, as we said. They get regulated up they get regulated up the ass, and they get so much regulation that it's just impossible to start a business. I shouldn't say impossible. It's very difficult, because you have to spend the money to start it. You have to, hopefully you have enough money to start it. So imagine this. Imagine you save enough money to start a business. Most of it goes to regulation. You start a business and it fails. What kind of morale killer is that? Like, some of you are strong. Some of you will say, okay, I failed. I'm going to continue again. I'm going to save up again and try to get something, trying to do it again. And good for you, man. That's the way to do it, because you're going to fail. You're going to fail more than you succeed. Any successful business person will tell you that you're going to fail more than you succeed. It's just, you got to keep at it. You just do, because it's just hard. It's just hard to not to do it, So in California, 98% of small businesses, I know you guys think that Google's here and Hulu and all these big tech giants are here, and that they give the majority of taxes to California. First of all, that's not true. Heck, they don't even employ, tech business doesn't even, just by nature, they don't employ like hundreds of thousands of people like, say, a hospitality business would do, or somebody that's offering a tangible service, not just like an electronic service. So 98% of the small 98% of the small business employs employees, not the big giants, not the tech giants in California. And the small businesses are the ones that are getting screwed with all these regulations. Now, and I understand, look, you're trying to save the environment and, EPA bullshit and, you're trying to do all that shit. But you're killing you're killing one thing to do another. Like this environmental stuff. Good. Everybody wants fucking clean water and clean air and, low emissions. We all want that shit, but we don't want to kill everything. The economy, the progress, we don't want the nation. We don't want to kill everything to make that happen. It's happening slowly, but it's happening. You guys think that by putting EPA regulations up the ass on everything, it's going to help the environment. Some of you. And then there's those of you that use regulations just to stop shit. I mean, you can't build anything. You can't, because there's so much regulation. It's just impossible. And these are the people that are in office in California. You regulate, and this is how you trick people with each proposition, and it's doing this and it's doing that. All it's doing is regulating shit. More regulation, and it's regulating shit. Why don't you, if you want to save the planet, why don't you go talk to China? Talk to fucking India. Talk to those places that are fucking really polluting the air, that are really fucking will do 1,000 times more damage to the atmosphere and the world than we are. Why don't you fucking go champion that cause? If you care that much about the environment, go champion that. If we can get China, India, all these places to stop with that kind of pollution, that has to be half. That has to be half the battle. Because whatever you're stopping, they're tripling, quadrupling. It's insane. Like I said, I'm all for the fucking saving the planet and shit. Just don't kill Peter to save Paul. Can I say that? I hope I can say that. So, like I said, the regulatory compliance in California is about $135,000 per year for small businesses, and it's insane. It's insane. But overall, man, people are leaving California because not only because of all this, people are afraid. People are afraid in California, but it's scary when you go out into well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but some people aren't afraid, but some people are afraid to fucking go through the homelessness, and I shouldn't say afraid. I think mad is a more a best description. People are mad. Why you keep breaking my fucking windows? I can't afford to keep changing the windows, man. I don't have a government job. I don't have a government office job. I'm not in. I'm not some union hack that makes fucking $100 an hour for doing nothing. I have to work for a living, man. I have to work for a living. I can't afford this. I can't afford to keep changing my freaking window. And that's just an example. And it's just not a good situation to me. I know I said afraid, but I guess it's more mad. People are mad, and rightfully so, and that's another reason why they're leaving. So the homeless, we talked about the homeless a little bit. So nationwide, homelessness is dropping, but in California, it's 12, who has 12% of the population, has 49%. They have 49. I'm not making this up. 49% of the homelessness. Now that could mean, in fairness, that could mean it's due to the weather. I think a large part of it is due to the weather. But still, 49%. You have 12% of the population, and you have 49% on homelessness. By the way, a note on homelessness. So, I've known people that are homeless. Some of my ironically, it's not my Mexican brothers that are homeless. If you Mexican and you're homeless, shame on you, man. You go get a freaking job like immediately. But my white brothers, who are homeless, and it's it's he was telling me, he actually lived on the beach. He was considered like a beach bum. So he was telling me that he was homeless, but he was on welfare. So he waits for his check every month, and he has a tent. He has a tent on the beach. He does have to move every once in a while, but he has a tent on the beach, and he uses those showers, and all he does is chill on the beach, and waits for his welfare check. Man, that's well, how can I do that? I can't do that, man. I don't think I could do that, but fuck, I wish I could. I wish something inside me can say, man, I could go on welfare, live on the beach. It's got to be a hard life to be homeless, Um, but how hard is it if these motherfuckers are homeless? Now, I'm not talking about the mental illness part of it. Like, look, I don't think that all these guys were all of a sudden mentally ill are homeless. I think that the drug use and the drug epidemic, which by the way, in other states is far worse than California. It just is. In Ohio, it's just the overdosing and the drug use is far, far worse than California, in my opinion. Um, but the mental illness of the homeless is um, a big part because of drug use. I firmly believe that because all of a sudden we have all these mentally ill homeless people. I remember when early on when I was younger, the homeless were homeless. They weren't necessarily mentally ill. They were on drugs. They did drugs. You could tell they were on drugs. They did drugs. Okay, they're acting foolish. But today, these mentally ill people, I think it's years of doing drugs, man. My opinion, That's not to say they can't snap out of it and go get a job. Some of them. I know some of them can't because they're legitimately mentally ill. I understand that, But all you motherfuckers that can get a job should go get a job are not going to because welfare pays for you. Welfare pays for all your stuff. So why would you get a job? Why do you want to why do you want to go deal with the a-hole DMV? Why do you want to go deal with high cost of living when you don't pay anything? I don't blame them. I don't blame the homeless for not wanting to do that shit. If I had the balls, I would do it. I just don't I don't want to live that kind of lifestyle. But you get my point, you know. Just too many homeless people in California, and nobody has a solution for it. You people have all these radical fucking ideas. You have all these weird ideas about uh, welfare, about Medicare, about Social Security, about all this crap. Why don't you have radical ideas for the homeless? Why not? Tell me. How about if you're gonna take my money anyway? Now I'm not suggesting this, but if you're gonna take my money anyway, what about you build a fucking homeless like a home care? Let's call it home care for the homeless, where you build the fucking basically a little town for the homeless, where you can move them off the streets and to this place where they can get help, where they can be treated, they can get food, they can get shelter, they can do all that stuff. Is that radical? Is that too radical? Is that too like insensitive? Is that too like extreme? Like you were spending my money on stupid shit anyway. Why don't you go? Better yet, why don't you make it optional? If it's that cruel, hell, make it optional for people that are homeless that want to go there, and they get treated for their addiction. They get education. Those that are not, fucked up in the head already. Is that too radical? Is that more radical than like Medicare for all and welfare for all and whatever else? I don't know. What are the idiots Republicans saying? Shit, nothing comes to mind. But stupid stuff like that. Why don't you guys do something like that? Because it's too insensitive. It's too why? I don't know. Leave me some comments on that. I want to know. Um, so so the anti-business thing is a big reason why people are leaving California. California just flat out anti-business. They tell you that they're not, right? These bullshitter politicians will tell you we want business to grow and we want business to do this and we want business to do that. But meantime, they're preventing you from making a business, getting a business, with all this fucking crap that you have to do before getting a business. This is why people are going to other places where it's so much easier. That look, attention, people of California. Attention, people of California. Are you listening? People of California, attention, attention. There's other places out there in the country. You don't even have to go to another country. You don't have to go to a foreign country. There's places out there in this country that want your business, that will treat you like human beings for having a business. Not only will they treat you like human beings, they will bend over backwards because you started a business in their state. California is not one of them. There's a lot of states that are not. East Coast, West Coast kind of thing is not. But there's a whole lot of states that will bend over backwards to have your business. And they will make it easy for you to make a business. They will make it easy for you to live. They will make it easy for you to enjoy your quality of life. Not California. California doesn't do that shit. As an example, they're so narcissistic in California, and I'm talking about all politicians, Republicans, Democrats, everybody. They're so narcissistic that they think they're doing you a favor. Rent control, as an example. They did rent control because they think that, and mind you, I may be a little biased because, like I said, I had a real estate business and I did rent out some places, not in rent control areas, but I purposely avoided those in LA. But rent control is a good thought. You want to have low income housing for low income people. But the problem is that the owners of the house, and I'm not talking about corporations, them too, but the majority of owners in the house, the people that own a house that want to rent it out, they're not going to remodel that place. They're not going to beautify the place. They're not going to do new construction. They're not going to, and corporations and, big business people, they're not going to do all that stuff. They're going to let it fucking fall apart and do the very minimum because it's rent control. It's there's no incentive to beautify the place because there's only so much you can do. Because it's there's only so much you can do. Look, I understand the concept, right? It goes both ways. Rent control can be a beautiful thing if it's done right, but right now the way it is, it's you're hurting the city, you're hurting the state by letting it fall apart. Okay, enough of that. So another thing is energy in California. You're trying to move away from fossil fuels, and fossil fuels are evil, and all that stuff. The Democrats want more of it. The Republicans want less of it. How about we do whatever is fucking efficient right now, and we progress at a slow pace, at a pace that can be progressed. You fuckers want to, go to solar power tomorrow, and some of you, and some of you want to not do anything at all. So why don't, in California, the energy cost is the highest in the nation. I think that's true. We pay more for energy in California. I'm talking about gas. I'll include transportation in that. We pay more for that than we do anywhere else. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think that's true. And it's all this stuff makes the middle class it makes the middle class extinct. You're killing the middle class with all this stuff because the middle class can't afford to be in California because then they're not middle class. They're going to be in poverty. So what do? They're going to take the business. They're going to take the talents to South Beach. You guys NBA fans? LeBron James, when he left Cleveland, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. That's what the middle class is doing in California. 50% or higher of the middle class would have to make $48 per hour to rent. Not just the middle class, anybody. You have to make $48 an hour to afford rent in California. How insane is that? And like I said, only 28% of the people in California, the top 28% of let's make it an even 30. The top 30% can afford to buy a house, live in California. The other 70% can't afford shit. They can't do anything except live, survive, be a paycheck away from being homeless. And why is that? Why can people prosper more in other states? Because other states don't have high taxes. They have low rent, low standard of living, a lower cost of living, and they're friendlier to people with businesses for sure. Look, California is a rich nation, and they don't care about the little guy. They don't care. They want to tax the shit out of the big guy and don't care about the little guy. Like if you have a problem, if you're trying to start a business, they're taxing the crap out of you. And what do? You can't afford employees. You can't afford to hire more people. You can't afford to open up another restaurant, another club, another whatever. Because you're paying taxes up the wazoo. How are you going to employ more people? So now less people are employed. So in other states, they're friendlier to business. Again, lower taxes. There's no state taxes. You know that the state tax in California is like, what is it, like 13% or whatever. This is on top of everything else, on top of your income, your gas tax, your sales tax, your whatever tax, everything tax. 13 fucking percent. How much do you take home, man? When you guys that are middle class or that you're in the list or categorized as in the poverty section, how much? Look at your checks. Wake up. Look at your checks. How much are you paying for taxes? That is not normal. It's not normal, dude. It's not normal that you're paying this much taxes. Other states don't tax you like that. It's California that's doing it. And not just California. A lot of the states, mostly on the East Coast, West Coast, they do that. Some, I guess there's some in the middle of the state of the country. But for the most part, we're talking about why people are leaving California. In the past 10 years, 5 million people have left California. You know what that means? That's the entire population of LA County. Well, I think LA County is more populated now. I think it's 10 million now, I think. So 5 million people have left California. And you know where they're going? They're going to Idaho. Man, if you take your money from California to Idaho, you're in the 1% over there, bro. I'm telling you, you're in the 1% in Idaho for sure. You're going to buy a big house wherever the hell you feel like it. And you're going to have a high standard of living, and you're going to do all right if you're in Idaho. Now, you guys say, who the hell wants to go to Idaho? True. But who the hell wants to stay in California with all this? Is the beauty of California worth the aggravation, the hassle, the crime, all that stuff? I don't know. That's an individual question. So, but I can tell you that if you move to other states, you're going to live like a king or a queen. So they're going to Idaho, they're going to Nevada, which now that I'm back in California, I'm seriously considering going to either Nevada or Arizona, which are still, people friendly, business friendly, that kind of stuff. Um, Texas. A lot of people are going to Texas. Zero income taxes. Zero state taxes. I mean, Florida's the same way. A lot of people are moving to Florida. It's just a matter of what you like. The climate. Florida has a lot of beaches, but it's humid and hot. Texas it can be hot, but it's got a lot of thunderstorms. California, beautiful weather, but it's got freaking earthquakes up the yin yang. I think we have like 100 earthquakes a day. Did you guys know that? 100 earthquakes a day. So yeah, not good. So I think we should. I'm going to end this podcast here. One thing that I didn't mention is law enforcement. And it's not just in California. I will say this: law enforcement across the country is so deflated, so demoralized that you might as well not even call them. I'll tell you what: the State Patrol and the CHP are still okay, right? They're still giving tickets up the ass. Assholes. You guys are still giving tickets in times like this. People are pissed and you guys are still giving tickets. Oh, it's for safety and blah, blah. Okay, just let's off with a warning. Screw you. So law enforcement is completely demoralized. I have family members that are in law enforcement. Man, I have family members that are all kind of spectrums, right? Illegal immigrants, on welfare, law enforcement, business people. Man, what a family. I love it. So I can tell you that their law enforcement is demoralized and basically disgruntled. So good luck, citizens of California or the country, if your police department is disgruntled. I was talking to a police officer the other day, and I'm not going to say who. He got a call from a woman who said that her husband was beating the crap out of her. So they got the call. They went to the scene. They saw the guy hitting her. He had broken out her windows of her car. When they got there, he was still breaking out windows. She had bloody nose, black eye. So they tried to handcuff him. And as they tried to handcuff him, he was resisting. And the woman started complaining to the officers that why are they handcuffing? Why are they treating him that way? Why are they handcuffing him? What are you guys doing? What the fuck are you doing? Leave him alone. And the officer's like, didn't you call us? And she was kind of totally oblivious to the question. Now, there's one side of the story, of course, but I don't have her side, but I'm telling you one side. And she was oblivious to the question. She didn't understand. Why are you treating him that way? And it's like, is this the guy that beat your ass or not? So why are you treating him that way? Okay. Do you want our help or not? Is this the guy that broke out your windows? We saw him break out your windows. Do you want to press charges? Yes or no? Why are you treating him that way? Stop treating him that way. Okay, do you want us to help you or not? No, I don't need your help. All right, guys, let him go. Let him beat her ass. Honestly. Let him beat her ass. That's your police department. They left. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. And honestly, who can blame them? If they got into a further altercation with him, they can get in trouble. Right? They can say police brutality, whatever. I mean, if you're doing it right, you're doing it right. But in this climate, you're getting your ass kicked. You're going to, hopefully you can survive whatever it is that's happening to you. And because the police officers right now are disgruntled. Have you ever been at work with a disgruntled employee? Have you ever worked with anybody like that? Maybe you were disgruntled. Did you care about your job? Did you care about your boss? Did you care about productivity? Did you care about being on time, going to work? Did you care about other coworkers? Did you care about what you were doing? Did other people see it? You guys know what I'm talking about. Police officers are disgruntled, and that's because they're handcuffed. They're handcuffed to what they can do, and basically, it's nothing now. All they're doing now is going somewhere. They're going to work. They go in the car. They park somewhere, and they collect their money. Oh yeah, we got a call. Okay, cool. I'm going to take my time. By the time I get there, this guy's gone. Now, I'm not saying that that's what people do. I'm just saying that, you know, most disgruntled people, that's what they would do. And they are disgruntled. And not only that, they're getting, they're getting defunded. I think I think somebody told me that in LA, they were taking $100 million or whatever it was, 100,000 or 100 million. I don't remember, from the police department. So they're forcing a lot of people to retire, which is okay, man. Good for you. Retire, take your pension, live happily ever after, man. It's not the job is not what it used to be. You're gonna let somebody. I don't think cops are gonna be happy with themselves by letting somebody else kill somebody else because they can't get involved. I don't think they're made up that way. Now, by the same token, I've been around police officers, and I know that some of you guys have no business being cops. Not that you're bad cops in a sense. You're just assholes. You just have an asshole attitude towards people. You think your shit don't stink. And take my word, for those of you listening on this podcast that are police officers, that people have told you you're an asshole, you should not be a cop. Because you're going to pay dearly for it. You're going to pay dearly for it. Mark my words. Some of you guys have no business being cops. Now, 98% of police officers are good people. I know. But it's that percentage of you. And I'm not talking about bad cops. I'm not talking about like bad cops, like that fucking corrupt, they're fucking killing people on purpose. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about you assholes that think your shit don't stink because you're a cop. You guys instigate shit. Stop it. If you're that kind of person, you should quit the job immediately. You should, man. I've worked with you people before. I've seen you people before. I've ran into you people before. And it's not going to be a good outcome for you. Do yourself a favor. Retire. Quit the job. It never was like that. Now, you're talking to somebody that grew up in South Central LA. Had my run-ins with the police at that time. 90s. Man, in those days they didn't have what you have today. Man, they got you, man. You were gonna get your ass kicked. But again, the majority of cops are good people. Good people. And I'm not talking about the bad cops. The bad cops, you guys are going to jail because you always get caught. But the guys in the middle, they're complete a-holes, don't like people, don't like society, don't like talking to people, loners. You kind of guys, you a-holes, think your shit don't stink, you need to quit. And I'm not saying, I'm not threatening, I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm saying do yourself a favor because in this climate, that shit's not going to fly. And it should have never flown, but it's more in this climate that it's not a good thing. So yeah, man. I got totally off the subject, right? It's people in California are leaving. Are you considering leaving? Maybe you should let me know. Let me know where you're going and why. I know that a lot of people are leaving. I know I'm probably going to be leaving. A lot of my friends that are cops are leaving too. They're going to be retiring soon. And, they're not old people. They've just been on the force since they were freaking 21. That's what we all wanted to do, was be a cop when we were 21, And some of us did it, some of us didn't. And they're not old guys, but they're eligible for retirement. So pretty much everybody that I've spoken to, the majority of people that I've spoken to, are leaving California. Once they retire, they're going to leave California, take their tax money with them, and be done with it, because their pension is going to get taxed out of fucking existence in California. So you guys remember that. Not just police officers, anybody that's retiring. I don't know what the future for California holds. I don't see it getting any better. On the contrary, I see it getting worse, because we're electing people with that mentality to make the shit worse. So, there's no, like I said, I don't like either the Democrats or the Republicans, but at least before you had a check and balance between Democrats and Republicans. You could vote one in, vote one out, maybe put them in together, let them fight it out, but they're not fucking up stuff. Now it's all Democrat. Like, that's not good. That's not good. I like most of these places that are failing, they're just one party system, whether it's all Republican or all Democrat. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing. So I don't know what's going to happen to California, but I know that I'm not going to be around to see it. That saddens me, because it's my home. I love California. Actually, what we're doing is, where before we used to vacation in other states, we're going to vacation in California, because I still love California. I don't like what's happening to it. I love California. So, hopefully we can vacation here, live somewhere else. Hopefully have a home here, and live somewhere else if we can afford it. Because we certainly can afford to have two homes in two other different states, or another state. But the goal is to have a home here, vacation here, and live elsewhere. Save our money, save our taxes, so we can pass it down to our kids. Well, if you like this podcast, let me know. If you have any thoughts, let me know. I know that I kind of rambled on, but this really was about why people are leaving California. So, again, let me know. You guys have a good one, and we will talk later.